And had been home maybe just about a week or two, and I got a phone call from Olean, and they asked me if I'd be interested in going down and trying out. The Yankees had a farm camp down in Old Oak, East Maryland. And so I went down, jumped in a car, went down and caught on with them. And that's how I got started in professional baseball. And we were, of course, part of the Pony League. And
What year was that, Art?
1953. Yeah. Jamestown had a heck of a ball club, just a tremendous ball club. They had a Lou Sickton, Witecki, and George Sarnan, and Walters, and Danny Carnavelli was the manager that year, and they were really tough. Well, Jamestown had a tremendous ball club. I mean, Bob Shaw, I don't think I mentioned that name. He went on to pitch professional or major league ball. But I remember Jamestown had the whole league terrorized. Those guys were stickers right down the line. I mean, they didn't have a weak bat, I don't think, in the lineup. I remember with Tucky especially, because such a fireball back there. Remember how he bounced around, and he really took charge. And I wasn't a pitcher, I was a thrower. And I guess the only reason I was a pitcher is that I could throw hard, and I really, in my own mind, as I look back on it, I probably should have been an outfielder. I was a pull hitter. I could run pretty good. Had a decent arm. But my pitches, really, you guys that were pitchers here, you know, I had a fastball that was decent. I had a crossfire, and what a crossfire was to me was I stepped to the, I crossed over with my left foot and then fired it against the right-handed batter. It was a good pitch. Left-handers saw it too good and smoked it. But and I had a fair slider. But I remember guys like Tony Lupien and there's a ton of guys in the Yankee organization that worked with me and tried to get me to throw a good change and add some pitches to my repertoire, but it just wasn't to be. I threw it too hard. I couldn't throw a curveball until I was coaching high school ball after my arm was shot. And then all of a sudden the spin became greater than the velocity probably, and it started to bend for me. But getting back to, I did have the good fortune to play ball against Ernie Banks and a lot of other guys, but I remember him because at the time the scuttlebutt was, here's a guy that was going to play in the majors. And you guys played against Paul Owens, and if you remember how Paul used to whack the heck out of the ball on the right side of second base, I mean, if you threw the ball outside Owens, he smoked it. And kind of like Andy and Delicato, was another guy that hit it that way. But Banks was playing with a DeVarty team over there, and I heard a lot about him before I had a chance to face him. And this one particular game, I did have a pretty good ball game, and I struck him out once. That's my only claim to fame. I did strike him out once, and he didn't hit any home runs, but I think we played him a 3-game series, and I think in that series he hit 4 out of the park. So he obviously great talent, and it wasn't the thrill for me then as it was later when I realized just really what kind of a ball player was. But I think one of the really nice things, one of the things that I really treasured was that meeting so many just super guys, and you know. In any sport that I ever played, especially in the college and professional level, guys that I'll just remember forever. And I was lucky enough to be a rookie with Bobby Richardson, and you know, there's a guy who epitomized, in my opinion, what professional athletes are all about. Kind of a guy that a young kid could look up to, and he not only had great talent, he had a tremendous personality, and I feel very lucky to have been be friends with a guy like that. I had one interesting experience. We were playing up at Hamilton, and I seemed to have Hamilton's number, so I got the assignment up there. And after I was through warming up, I walked up to the mound, see, and I'm looking down there, and geez, this guy that's refereeing home plate looks familiar to me, and it turned out to be a guy I was real good high school buddies with, a red-headed kid named Rogers. And I didn't go near him, and he didn't go near me, but I won the ball game, and a call third strike with a bases jammed in the ninth inning. One time over at, this wasn't a great experience, but interesting. Hornell had a kid named Billy Weir. 53, those batting helmets were terrible. You know, nobody wanted to wear them. You know, they were, remember those doggone things that went inside your hat, and they just were, they were rinky-dink. So the guys, and it wasn't mandatory. You didn't have to wear them. And this kid went up the plate, and he crowded the plate, see. Jesus, I threw a fastball in there. It hit him. It fractured the supraorbital bone in his eye, but the third baseman fielded the ball.
Oh, boy.
Bam, you know, smoked him. I went down to the hospital to see him the next day or so, and he never played baseball again. One time I could run, as I said, I could run decent, so we're playing Jamestown at Olean. Tight ball game. About the 5th or 6th inning, they bring me in to pinch run. And I wasn't out there for 2 seconds, and shortstop made a move, and man, I was cocky, you know, and I jumped off there, and the shortstop slid back out, and I jumped back out, and the second baseman came in, and boom, they nailed me just like that. First pro game they ever played at Salamanca down at Vets Park. I got a big write-up, local boy is going to throw, and you know, all the town people were there, Randolph and Cattaraugus and Little Valley and Judas Priest. And I went up there, and I think I lasted about 3 innings. You know, just absolutely shillelagh'd me, and that was kind of the end of my effective throwing right there. A bunch of guys down here, in my opinion, always had the ability, but maybe not the occasion, for some reason. There were guys like Bob and guys like Al Taylor and local guys that really did well. But there's so many great ball players in that inter-city league, and the nice thing about that was they let me play center field. I didn't have to go near the mound because they had a ton of pitchers, guys with great ability. Denny Swan, Bruce Bullock, guys like that. And I really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun. Had a heck of a lot of fun. Jamestown had a lot of great teams back then. I can remember as a kid coming down here, and the stands were filled as far as you could look down the right field line and as far as you could look down the left field line. I was at the end of that era. You know, we experienced something that they don't even understand today in terms of fans' support and the hoopla and the hero worship that it didn't make any difference if you played D-ball or Major League ball. To a kid, you were really something. And I think that probably inspired a lot of us to give it a shot ourselves. One thing I do remember, I had a no-hit ball game going. I didn't have very many like this, but one day I did have a no-hit ball game going down to Corning, and I managed to walk Tony Lupien every time he came up, and I was getting a little bit cocky. And so the first time he got up to bat in the 9th inning, I threw a strike right down the middle. And holy mackerel, Wally Lance called time, and he kept running out to the mound. He said, "What are you doing?" And we were winning something like 3-0, see. And I said, "I can get him. I can get him. I know I got it today." He goes, "Let me get it." This guy, he owned me. He's like Davenport. If I cocked my arm, he drilled it right out over somewhere. So, and Frank Rico's out there. He said, "No." He said, "We're going to pitch." "No, let's get him. Let's get him. I know I can get him." So, I don't know why. They let me have my way. And I'll tell you what, he hit one right up over the top of that scoreboard.
It's still going.
It's still going.